Well, hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, where did we leave off? Our little party of intrepid new adventurers have been hired by one Soraxis alongside his wife, and were brought about within the to kind of search for some missing goods that were missing within the city of Ardalon, of which some were meant to go off to our well, most actually were meant to go off to Pre-Reach and to be delivered to various different merchants or receivers within the city. Um, Teams did some investigating, found that the items have been stolen and carried off to the sewers. A mysterious entrance into the sewers, entered it, and walked around, checked out, found some interesting stuff, and eventually stumbled upon what seemed to have been a hideout after passing by and strange creature that seems to be able to take on the form of people. Whether it was after killing them or something else, it's not quite known. But you managed to kind of get inside of this hideout, surprise the people within. Though they were ready for an attack, they weren't quite ready for exactly when.
Hello, gentlemen.
Exactly. You managed to walk in, defeated them, but suffered some pretty hefty damage before managing that. And as all of you are kind of catching your breath in this slightly damp and kind of dark room, the flickering of the torches along the walls, the only bits of movement that you can see after this battle finally concluded. Glancing around within the actual hall itself, it seems to be, for the most part, relatively clean. The ground itself is a little bit damp in various different places, and you do see puddles forming, but it doesn't look like they've been left there for very long, or at the very least, someone had cleaned them up relatively recently. There's a few crates here and there of various different goods that seems to have been opened. You see similar ones to the ones that you guys had kind of managed to retrieve from the creature earlier, just kind of sitting alongside the walls. Um, Distinctively, you do see one of the boxes resembles the large dragon bone container as was described previously. And of course, Syraxis, you know kind of what it looks like, mainly because your family's sigil is kind of emblazoned on the side, as well as the size and actual like mannerisms of the box are fitting of the description that you had previously been given. But also, the top of it is what appears to be completely cranked open. The wooden top of the box is just sitting just behind the actual box itself. There's also a variety of other containers, most of them, if not all of them, completely opened and kind of cracked open in a very similar fashion. In the far back of the room itself, you see what appears to be like a large altar with a singular statue that's not actually represented on this map, essentially like right here. But there's like a large altar of which like a statue of this strange man or woman, you're not entirely sure, this robed figure seems to stand behind it with their arms kind of clasped together. You also see to either side what appears to be slightly elevated platforms, both of which are leading into rooms of which you have not seen before. Additionally, you see that when the drow, if I remember correctly, someone punched their head off, or
No.
He was hit by like psychic blade or something.
Stab with a
Like
shadow blade, so he just sort of aneurysm.
yeah. Yes, his brain
Sure what you're
exploded.
going through.
Yeah, he started like bleeding out of his like holes in his head.
Yeah, he's essentially collapsed, and you can see like his eyes are just staring into the distance. The blood, this dark like purple black blood coming out of both the eyes, the nostrils, and the sides of the mouths, and he's just kind of like crumpled on the ground. But aside from that, inside of this room, other than a few traces of the elementals that you guys had fought, there's not really much else.
Well, then that was entertaining.
Have a very different idea of entertainment than me.
Well, I've not heard no bell, so I'm good to go.
Would like to collapse against this wall and pet my drink.
Look,
As we are both not doing good.
Zane, Celesto, and I are the ones who are least injured, so all of you take a breather. We'll take a look around.
I'll join you.
Lord Syraxis, if on top of letting a strange, never-before-seen creature escape, not taking any criminals alive, and having you die, at that point I might as well flee the city. So please sit down and rest.
Syraxis, at this moment, you do recall you were told not to kill anyone.
Yeah. Well, given the circumstances of that, I say kind of looking to where I assume there's like some embers or burn marks from those creatures. I would imagine all can be forgiven about that. But
After we explain it, probably. But
well, that's why whenever we go back up, we should probably let me explain it. I can make it, clear that given the circumstances, it was probably the best call or best play to make.
still, I'm going to go inspect the other crates. Because the dragon remains. Boxes over there. So. Darcy's going to go make sure that everything is still in there. Where was it?
It's just along the walls, both to the north and the south of this room. But as you kind of like go up to inspect them, you look in. Every single box that you look through is completely empty.
And that's not good. All of these crates are empty.
Do they look like the crates that we're actually looking for, or just something else?
Oh, they're definitely the crates you were looking for. Because the one that was described as having the dragon bones within had your sigil, and like kind of this the description that you were given fits the one that you see alongside this wall perfectly. However, you're fairly certain there's supposed to be something inside.
Yeah. Well, I suppose maybe someone should check the drow, not you. I say it looking to the Saros, and see if they have anything on them that might point to where they were heading or what their goal is, or if they're working for anyone.
There's also other rooms to look into.
Yes, that guy. I say, pointing to the guy on the. He's just kind of on the ground near Zane.
I would like to go up and see if there's anything recognizable about this other drow.
Give me an investigation check.
I'll fall behind with the lantern, just kind of pointing it out.
Can I just search him in the meantime? Just go through his belongings.
Yeah, you can also give me an investigation check. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask. That statue. I don't know if there's anything I would have to roll for it, but does it look like it was built here when this entire place was constructed, or does it seem like it's been something that's been recently put here?
You can give me an investigation check with masonry tools if you're proficient in those. But if you're not, then just a normal investigation check. As for the body, Saros, unfortunately, it just looks like any other kind of random person. Like, you might have seen them, you might not have. It's hard to say. For the most part, you're at least decently confident that you haven't seen them before. As for Zane, as you kind of go through his pockets and his various different things, you do find a few things that are all right, not necessarily too useful, but you pull things out, you find what appears to be like a small staff, or a dag, or sorry, yeah, it's like a staff with like a knife or a dagger attached to the top of it. It seems interesting, but it's not quite a spear. It seems more like an improvised weapon, as far as you're aware. We also find a small coin pouch with 11 gold pieces and 2 platinum. And in addition to that, you also find a letter scribbled in a language that you are actually rather familiar with. However, it's written in a tongue that you're not familiar with. With the structure of how it's phrased, you're fairly certain that this would be Thieves' Cant. However, the actual script itself seems to be written in Undercommon.
Well, I wouldn't know it's an undercommon, right?
No, but it's close enough. Like, Undercommon is close enough to common that you could identify it as Undercommon. You have an intelligence of at least 10, right?
Yes.
I would
You're the
hope.
wizard. Yeah, you're the wizard. You can intuit things like this. You 100% know that this is Undercommon.
Playing a dumb wizard.
I was about to say, did we accidentally pick up the one rogue wizard who was like the mage school reject or something like that? Like,
Yeah, because I was like, I'm 100% sure your character was smart, and then I check and I'm like, this guy's a fucking wizard. Yeah, but you 100% know that it is specifically Undercommon. However, you are unable to decipher it. Wait, do you speak Undercommon? No, right?
No.
However, because you don't speak the actual language itself, you're unable to decipher what the actual contents of this letter is.
Can I attempt to pocket the gold?
Without anyone else seeing?
Yes.
Sure, give me a sleight of hand check. Everyone sees. And I do mean everyone.
Yeah.
Including Reggie, who is currently sitting on the edge of the stairs, like looking over, just like slumped against the side of the wall.
Hey,
what you got there, Zane?
Stuff. Zane just kind of like sighs and just throws the money on the ground.
I kind of look down at the money and then I just go like, "Oh, I didn't notice that. I was meaning the letter."
It's written in Thieves' Cant, but it's Undercommon. Unfortunately,
Thieves. I mean, I'm sure thieves can, but go on.
I don't speak Undercommon. I can't decipher this.
Do you want me to take a look?
I just see. I slowly look at Saros.
I'm
I would
fluent.
assume that there could. I would assume that translating it into common doesn't break the code, does it?
Zane just tosses the letter in Saras's direction.
Yeah, Saros, you pick up the letter. You can read it relatively fine. However, the actual contents of it is incredibly confusing. You have no idea exactly what it's trying to say or what the message is trying to convey. But you essentially get, like, the pig's got a new hat, but it doesn't seem like the pillar's sitting right. And just like a string of sentences alongside that.
Thoraxis, as you're reading it, Thoraxis just goes like, "Is this supposed to be like bad poetry or something?" Like,
It's a code, kind of like what I had to say to the method in the other room.
isn't all language a code when you think about it?
Yes, but it's an encoded code, Syraxis.
When did
That just
Sirex's
sounds
intelligence
redundant.
go above 20?
It's
It's a
8.
It's a redundancy that stops the redundance from figuring out the redundancy.
All right, so look, you don't stop.
Read a mystery novel sometimes.
Sure.
I'm going to open this door.
Are you trying to open the door?
I'll like listen. Well, I'll listen in if there's anything on the other side, or
Sure, give me a
like I'm
perception
gonna.
check.
Yeah.
In the meantime, did you walk up to the statue, Syraxis, or did you just kind of observe it from a distance?
I mean, I walked over with the rest of the group who was like inspecting the dead guy.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'd probably be like about 30 or so feet away from it. So
Okay. I'll
just kind of watching it or like looking at it with the light actually properly like shining at it.
Yeah. It's a little difficult to tell from this distance, but it looks like a statue, and as far as you can tell, the stonework seems to be very similar to the one in the room. Arguably, from this distance, it looks like it could have been just carved out of the stone in the room, or alternatively, it could also have been carved out of stone from nearby and just dragged into position. But you looking at the ground, it's neatly tiled. It's actually relatively well kept, which is also something that seems to surprise you. But no, the statue, you're unable to tell from this distance. If you wanted to try and identify who or what kind of figure it might be, you can give me a religion check. Or
Sure,
history
I'll give it
check.
the old history preferred.
Yeah, whichever.
I had that for some reason.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're a knight, right? The noble background.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
That'll do it.
technically, yeah.
Technically, yeah.
Technically. um doesn't
Being held
look
together with
like-
duct tape and a couple sticks, but yeah.
really look like anyone that you're familiar with, at the very least. A cloaked figure, gods, it's difficult to tell. I mean, even right now you're trying to kind of remember which one of the gods had cloaks, and you can't remember.
Yeah, yes.
But yeah, Darcy, as you're kind of walking up to the actual door itself, you kind of quietly put your ear up to this wooden door. You don't hear anything, and as far as you could tell, there isn't any sort of light coming in from the other side of the room either. The room is quiet.
Just to be safe, Darcy will mage hand the door open.
Yeah. You click, the door opens up, and on the interior you see what appears to be like a rather large, kind of smooth desk area. Just that seems to cover about maybe half of the room, with a variety of different indents alongside it that seems to contain scrolls and documents, the majority of which are just kind of scattered all over the entire top of this surface. It almost looks like a war room of some sort, but at the very center of it, you can see what appears to be a map of Ardalon. On top of it, you can see just like a bunch of small X's drawn or circles here or there. You see a few like not a small scale, essentially like nails just driven into certain portions of the actual map itself. But also just like a random assortment of just kind of documents, papers, and things that are just piled up on this table. There's some on the ground as well, and you can see that from what you could tell, probably a large portion of this was taken, but there seems to have been quite a bit of it that was actually left behind, which is surprising given how well they cleaned up the contents within the boxes.
Yeah, Darcy will pick things up and try to organize them at least a little bit. He knows they're probably in thieves' camp, but
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
Mhm.
At a very quick glance, there isn't too many things that are specifically useful to you in this current moment in trying to figure things out, but it does give you a little bit of a better picture as to who could have been here. You see a bunch of missives, letters here and there to specific people, not necessarily guards or such, but it's a lot of these letters are just kind of information probes. You've seen this done before where it'll essentially be a letter being sent to a specific person from who they think is like friend or family, and then they'll be asking questions, be like, oh, I don't want to be in too much trouble around with the guards. Do you know who guards it? Or like, do you know what kind of work they do? Or, what's the patrol routes for these places, X and X? And it gives you a little bit better of an idea that a lot of this seems to be just information that would have been very useful to perhaps a thieves guild.
Mhm.
At the very least, you can infer that much, given that you can see that there is a lot of this written in Thieves' Cant for the ones that aren't the direct missives and the kind of like letters and such to people. You also find certain documents in regards to some of the stock and information and items that they've gotten, which looks really important. And you're surprised it would have been left behind. Like the letters and other things like that, that's whatever, right? Sure, they're gathering information, and it probably wouldn't have been anything important to leave behind. But for this specific document, you unfold it, and it's just kind of like a small ledger. It's packed neatly, and you can see the writing inside of this is also very different. The ones for the other ones were kind of just like random, assorted. It looked almost like copied writing. But for here,
Right.
this one is practiced, neat, like very, very tidy handwriting. And inside of the actual book, you can see exactly kind of like very much dated things and then just a bunch of confusing words in Thieves' Cant that you do not understand. You kind of
Does it
flip
appear
through
to
it
be
lightly.
in common at least?
It is in common, yes.
Okay.
So like the words themselves make sense to you, but put together you have no idea what it means. But there are portions of it that kind of like repeat over and over and over, and you're like, okay. And just piecing it together, give me a intelligence check. You're not entirely sure what this could be. It's some sort of ledger, it's a record of something, but you have no idea what it would be of.
Do I have any sort of bonus considering the fact that I'm a merchant, I do trades, I keep my own ledgers?
It looks very similar to one of yours, but aside from that, you're not able to tell any additional information. Like it's just as neatly kept as yours, if not more, and it's actually quite good. The
Yeah,
quantities of it are
the big
strange,
issue
though.
here is the code.
Yeah, you have no idea what the code means. There's no like numbers or anything written, which is even more confusing. There's like the dates. That's the only numbers that you can see that are recognizable. Everything else is just confusing mumbo jumbo, but they're in like point form, so you're assuming that they're some sort of thing.
Anything from the last 4 or 5 days.
Yep, there's
Sometime
actually
within the
quite a few things from the last 4 or 5 days. You note that on the day that you were told like the items were stolen, which was the 10th of Novilia, there is 4 entries on that day. There's 2 entries on the 11th, and there's 1 entry on the 12th, which is today. Kind of flipping through it, you can actually see that it's signed DA in various different places, which you would
that would probably be Darren.
recognize. Yeah.
The guy who got the guy who was eaten by the Oblex. Not that we know what the fucking Oblex is.
Yeah. But aside from that, inside of the actual room itself, there isn't too many other bits of interesting information. There is a really nice, fancy-looking dagger on the table, of which you can take out if you'd like. There is also
pick that up.
what
No
appears
reason
to
not
be like a small coin pouch, like maybe some sort of payment or something. And as you open it up, it's like 170 gold and like 15 platinum inside. There's also 600 copper pieces at the bottom of it,
Jesus.
which you don't realize until you kind of like start flipping through a little bit of it, and you're like, wait a second, why is it so heavy? And you realize,
Oh, I
it's the
know what
copper
it is.
pieces
I
at
know
the
what's
bottom.
up. I know what's up with that. It's to make a bribe seem heftier and then realize that realize whoever got bribed got cheated. Or paid or whatever. Whichever way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darcy will pick that up. He's just going to put it in his bag for now as alongside the other stuff. He'll divvy it up later.
Sure. Eclipse, is there anything that you're doing? You can see at this moment that the rest of the group is kind of like investigating over on the other side. But you also see Reggie is like literally sitting on the stairs leaning against it. And at this point, he's like half fallen asleep, holding onto his wounds. He's just like,
Yeah, I mean, doing worse than Reggie is currently, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah, I truly am just slumped up against this wall, kind of not fading in and out, but definitely like not paying attention. Just, you know, petting my also almost dead Drake.
Yeah. Give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Sure thing. Control, yeah.
Oh my god! Is that with
Whoa!
disadvantage? Is that two nat 20s?
Hey,
Holy
that's
shit!
double nat 20s on a disadvantage.
That's crazy.
That's
Andrew,
Cannot
actually
be stopped.
insane.
Andrew, you got to be
That's-
careful now. That's important. It's giving you
What
the
can I
one last
say,
high.
guys? Maybe I roll better when I'm dying. I'm just closer to my natural state,
I
obviously.
don't know if that's what you want, but hey, it means
Do I count this as 2 or 1?
I think you count it as 1, but you put it in the stat track as like a
Yeah.
double nat 20s.
As a double nat 20, yeah.
Oh, I have. Don't worry. It's there.
That's sick. No, but okay. But as you're kind of like fading in and out, you're still paying a little bit of attention to your surroundings. And at this very moment, out of the corner of your right eye, you spot something and you just kind of slightly move your head over. And you see what appears to be a figure just kind of like standing ominously right in this corner. And as soon as you kind of like turn your head, they disappear. And you don't get a clear look of who they were.
Damn.
But
Even
someone...
with a nat 20, huh?
You know what? Actually, with a nat 20, you will know actually exactly what they look like, and I will show only you this picture. Actually,
Beautiful.
yeah. I think yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
You see
Interesting.
the edges of their hair kind of peek out for a very brief moment, and you see the very intense eyes, and you know what? It's because you rolled a double nat 20, I'll even tell you that it looked different to the version you saw beforehand.
Okay.
That's it.
So is it kind of like as soon as I notice them, they disappear kind of thing?
Yep. Not
Does it
as
seem
not
like
disappear
they-
as in like vanish. They disappear
Yeah,
as in
no,
they
I know.
like very quickly move away.
Yeah, does it seem like they noticed me noticing them?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, cool. Cool. Alrighty, yeah, that's fine. I'll just kind of like pick up a pebble or something from where I'm at. There's probably a little bit of rubble somewhere, right?
Mhm.
And I'll just like chuck it to get Syraxis' attention.
Yeah.
What?
All of the rest of you hear this kind of stone clack against stone coming in the direction of Eclipse. Land about halfway between all of you.
What's wrong? By the way, Jake,
Oops.
how much was in the friggin' money pouch?
It was 171 gold and 15 platinum and 600 copper.
All right.
Did I say 171 or 141? I can't remember. We'll go with 171.
How many platinum was it you said?
15.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I will just kind of like motion anyone to get over to come closer. Just so I'm not explicitly saying this out loud.
I'll kind of turn around and walk over there.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so I I'm not quite sure. Obviously, none of you saw it, but an individual did just walk up here, and then I guess the second he noticed me noticing him, he ran away. So
Well, that can't be good.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, there's that. So other people are down here, obviously, like we already knew, but now they know we're here.
Hmm. Well, I suppose we should hastily finish our search of this place and go elsewhere, I suppose.
Well, if you need me, I will be right here, not dying just yet.
Darcy's just also going to mage hand this door open as well.
Sure. The other door opens also with no issue, and inside of it, instead of like a large war room table, instead you see what appears to be like a set of bunks, maybe about 2 dozen, just in the actual room itself, like 20 or so bunks that are just. It's like bunks. It's got like hammocks. It just looks like a general sleeping area. Extremely cramped, extremely tightly wound together, but at least decent. But at the very least, from what you could tell, there doesn't seem to be anything else. Though you could take a deeper look if you'd like.
Yeah, Darcy will look like under the bunks and the covers, things like that.
Sure. Give me an investigation check. You find a ring. It looks like to be some sort of like emerald crusted ring along the outside, and like it's got a real big emerald in the center, but it doesn't. From the best that you can tell, it's not magical. It's just really pretty, and I'll just give you the value right now. It's worth 240 gold. Sorry, 250 gold.
Okay. What about that dagger? Did that seem magical or just fancy?
It seems to be magical, yes.
Okay. Any check I could make on the dagger to potentially identify what it is?
You can give me an Arcana check to try and determine what kind of effect it might have.
All right.
You have
12
no
for
idea.
that. Yeah, no clue.
It's a magical dagger. It's hard to break. That's for sure. But other than that, you don't know.
All right. Gathered up some documents from that room and coded ledger. Everything's in code, really, but
Oh,
the
not
ledger's
more.
the ledger's the actually important part.
Did we ever figure out what the first one said?
With the words being read out loud, Zane, give me an intelligence check just to see if you could translate it with the translation that you're being given from Saras. Yeah, actually, relatively easily. The majority of the letter seems to be just kind of detailing the various different rituals that he's currently got going on. One of them was essentially a control of the elementals. It was a domination effect, not a summoning effect. So, as far as you're aware, the Mephits, at the very least, were already down here, but they were being dominated, as in they were being controlled by this man. Secondly, You also found that there is a signed contract with a strange creature named an Oblex. You're not sure what that means, because as you're trying to translate the actual things, it's just using words and like symbology that you're not entirely sure of. It's essentially a contract for trade. They're supposed to be doing something for each other, but you're not able to really determine what exactly that thing for each other is. Or if it's like a cooperative, or if it's like a kind of hostile but mostly cooperative. You're unable to determine the nature of that contract. Thirdly, it specifically states that this man is supposed to protect the information or eliminate the sources of the trouble of that day. And you see hastily scribbled at the bottom, which is also still in Thieves' Cant, just get rid of them. Fucking kill them all if you need to. Translated, of course. And that is also signed by DA.
DA.
The
But
signature
really-
to you actually looks very familiar.
Is it my boy Darren?
Oh, absolutely.
What has he gotten himself into this time? This Zane just kind of just ponders and shakes his head.
Hmm.
You guys hear Reggie call from the other side. I hate to be that person, but should we really be here? Do you think they'll come back?
Hmm.
Who the elementals?
No,
Or
no, no.
whoever.
The people here. I don't know. There was one person here, right? There could be more.
It's likely, however. We've only recovered one crate. There's still 2 more. The remains of the boxes themselves are here, and we wouldn't be able to find them. Won't be able to find them if they leave. It's a judgment call by Lord Syraxis in this case.
I mean, looking over the lot of us, yeah, we've all seen better days. Do we have any idea? I guess how much farther this place goes? We may have to spend the night here. Is the only downside.
That would not be a good idea.
Exactly.
But if we leave, then it'll give them time to move things around and escape.
Exactly the issue. But if they're not attacking us themselves right now, there's potentially a reason for that. If they're watching us, anyone could make the correct judgment call that none of us are in a state to continue fighting, really.
Oh, what does your friend look like again? Uh, Zane or whatever, your friend, one that we've heard about a bunch of times.
What I wouldn't exactly describe him as my friend, but
Sure, yeah, what he looked like.
I did not write down his looks. I wrote down his personality.
From the visuals, you do remember that he had kind of like light blue or tealish hair that kind of came down to be darker as it got to about shoulder length. Typically wears a trench coat, and some other kind of tighter clothes. Dresses dark, has a very serious look to his eyes, and is typically clean shaven. As you kind of recount these details out to you, Mr. Eclipse, do you? Sorry, Zane? Like, do you tell him?
Yeah.
Then, yeah, Eclipse. It matches the
Oh
description
yeah,
perfectly.
well, that's the guy that was back there. So, he's seen
supposed.
us.
What sort of state was he in? Because I can't imagine.
Exactly like that one described him.
I mean, does he seem to have been under any sort of duress? Like, has he been injured? Does he seem exhausted?
Listen, I got to see him for like a split second until he noticed me. So I can't tell you the specifics of it.
Well, are you and him on good terms, Zane?
Well, not. We're neutral.
Well, then
I'm
why
just-
not go and speak to him? You're the best. You're in the best shape it would look like.
I suppose, but we have. The last time I saw him, that we did have difference in opinions.
How long ago was that?
A long time ago. Very long time ago.
Well, I mean, if it's been a while, perhaps it's all water under the bridge now, as they say.
That doesn't exist in the underworld.
What?
That's not a thing among criminals.
Are you people that petty?
It's a different life. But if you require me to do so, I will attempt.
Well, I mean, if he's here, I mean, if he seems to be in on this, I mean, again, as someone pointed out, we're all in a pretty bad shape at the moment. If they wanted us dead, I imagine that they would have already done so by now. I kind of quickly glanced back to look at Reggie since he's kind of all over there by himself.
He looks fine.
Yeah, see, they would have already picked some of us off and started making their way in to finish the job. But they haven't, so either they have alternative motives or, well, we're not a threat that they want to remove.
You see Reggie get nervous and start walking towards you guys. As he's shot. No, I'm kidding.
Lord Syraxis, you are the one that commissioned this job, you and your wife. As such, it's up to you whether or not we keep going.
GM, when we were walking into the room, like, this was kind of like, this wasn't the only way to go, right? Like, there were another path that we could have, in theory, like, went that way.
Technically, yeah.
Okay. So we're certainly not at a dead end here. Well, I mean, we've gone rather far thus far. We should probably at least try and get some rest before continuing, though. I don't know. I don't really want to do it here, but we may not have much of a choice. I'd rather them get some distance on us than for us to wander on in there like this and, well, get rolled, as they say.
Also, on a side note, it's like maybe less than 10 minutes to get out of the sewers.
Though, alternatively, I suppose we could just, walk back upstairs. It'll only be like a 10-15 minute walk, but still,
Like, you guys aren't that deep in the sewers. You've just been taking it carefully, so it's taken you guys a while.
Well,
Maybe we can return with the schematics of the sewers.
yes, I suppose we could. We at least have info on. Do we know where they're heading by chance, or no?
Jake, if Darcy were to pull out and look at the map that he found in the other room,
Mm-hmm.
what does it seem to be marking?
Ooh, that's hard to say because there's no labeling on any of it. It's just circles, crosses, and nails.
Oh,
Like-
hold on now. Oh, what?
Yeah, they're playing tic-tac-toe on... No, it's genuinely incredibly difficult to actually tell what it is because none of them have labels. I mean, you could
Zane.
certainly try and induce it, but you would need additional information before you could do that. You wouldn't be able to do it off of just the map alone.
Zane, I'm going to... Actually, no, we don't have time. If they're planning some sort of ambush right now, they wouldn't give us time. There's already information missing, but... Because Darcy did clear out all those papers and put them in his bag.
Oh, you put everything in your bag? Yeah, sure. But it's like maybe 5, 6 pounds worth of like just random pieces of paper. But yeah.
Yeah. Darcy can't read this stuff. He doesn't necessarily trust Zane, considering how involved he is with criminal elements, and he knows this guy that we're going after. I'm presuming that there's somebody within the guard that's capable of deciphering thieves' cant.
No.
No?
It would have to be a service that you would have to find someone who does actually know it. Because if you're not like commonly involved with it on an almost day-to-day basis, the chances of someone who's actually able to decipher it is almost impossible because it changes so much.
Alright.
With
Cants aren't like
That's true.
like a
That's
nailed
true.
down like
it's not a
language.
fixed language. Yeah, a lot of the thing changes, and because of it requires a lot of context and information as well, and it kind of changes between groups as well. So like it's difficult to tell, and even if you know the language, like you know the signs of it, like you can sometimes only tell the basic information around what a message is trying to convey.
All right, then.
Imagine having a language that only rogues know that the guards can decipher.
That would be crazy.
Man, crime's really low this time of year. Jerry, it's low every year. We can read thieves' cant. Oh yeah, you're right.
Ugh.
Well,
Uh,
since it's only a short jog from here to the surface, I say the best course of action will probably be to go back up and rest for the moment to perhaps try and decipher these letters and maps or tic-tac-toe board that they were playing on here.
At the very least, it would be a good idea to recover a little bit.
Well, what do we want to do with this guy? Say, kind of motioning to the dead guy.
Mm. I do not know. It feels a little callous to leave him here.
Yeah, but my wife isn't too keen on bringing bodies into the mansion.
Feed them to the dogs.
I've done it before.
What?
I'm kidding.
Not you. That
Oh,
one.
But it's a way to get rid of a body.
we don't have dogs. We have a cat though.
Soros, anything to weigh in on here?
Actually, Jake, is this guy wearing Underdark clothing or surface clothing?
He is wearing what appears to be surface clothing.
Okay.
It's not necessarily clothes that would blend in very well with specifically Ardalan, but you would know that it's things you've seen around Ardalan quite a decent amount.
Okay.
But it's kind of like a mishmash. Like, it doesn't look at the very least that this guy was fashion savvy.
I mean, the most that I could do for him is give him an Underdark send off. But I don't know.
I hate to be callous, but like I could burn him. Oh,
I think
okay.
it might take a little bit more than just your breath to burn him. I've heard someone do like the math before, and it's like a lot of logs to burn a body.
Hmm. Well, I suppose if anything, we can drag him along with us. Maybe, I guess, bring him to the guard to see if they can identify him at all.
Identify him, then take him to a mortuary, something.
If he's a bad criminal in life, then perhaps they can identify who he's with previously, and maybe that might provide some additional insight if the codes, as you call them, don't bring anything.
Right.
What a fine day it's been.
Let's just leave at this point.
Yes, I'll grab the guy. I just say as I kind of lean over and just grab him.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of look at him and
It might be a good idea to wrap him up a little bit so you're not just carrying what is discernibly a corpse.
what are they gonna do? Arrest me? Huh.
They might,
Okay. I mean, they could try.
and they'd probably succeed considering the state you're in.
You okay, but does anyone have a blanket or like a towel or anything they're willing to part with?
There are bunks in there. Pointing
Yep.
to the other room.
Oh, perfect. I'll kind of drop them and just kind of walk in there and grab the sheets and walk back.
Yeah, you hear a distinctive crack as you drop him. Is
Oh,
before going to grab something before coming back, and you're like, "Oh, ooh, I don't think that leg's supposed to bend that way."
wow, he was weak and brutal. Honestly, I feel like even if I was trying to, knock him out, I feel like I'd accidentally just decimated the skull.
He's already dead, man. Come on.
I just like I lay out the sheet and I just put him in it and I'll kind of wrap it up and just underhand carry him while holding hold him kind of under my arm while holding my blade in my other hand.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood leaking out of that sheet.
Oh, jeez. Okay,
Yeah.
give me a pillowcase.
It gets soaked like really quickly.
Jeez, he's bleeding so much even though he's dead. What did you
Well, all the
do
blood
to
in
him,
his
Zay?
body gotta go somewhere.
Well, no, he shouldn't be bleeding this much. Goodness.
You
Pretty sure Head
disrupted
wounds
him
bleed
and
more than
picked him up.
most.
That's the thing. The heart stopped beating a while ago.
He has
no, that's what I
open
said, man.
wounds.
Yeah, his body's still got a lot of blood in it. Just because he died doesn't mean his body's empty of blood.
All right, now I gotta drain him like a raisin. That way he doesn't bleed
Oh
everywhere
my
over my
God.
arm.
Oh,
no. Lord. Okay, you
You
can
just
you can
hang
do
up.
that. You can do that. Darcy's fucking leaving.
You just hang him up like an animal.
I
Oh
just-
my god. He's gonna make his body halal. Oh my
Fucking
god.
Christ.
And I'll just grab like another sheet or so and like kind of double wrap them that way.
Probably grab like 5.
They don't have that many, I don't think.
A short sheet the entire bunk room if you have to.
Shit, there was more than just the one.
There was a lot of bunks.
I kind of do a double. Oh,
You should probably
Well.
grab like 5.
I'll triple wrap them.
Okay. After enough wrapping, you're basically carrying like a giant mummy. You're like, this is close enough.
Still suspicious, but you can at least have a chance to explain before they realize what it is.
Now, I just want to point out when we get back up, we are going straight to the guards with this, and then
Agreed.
I am going to return home. Jake, I don't know because I never really specified. Does my place have spare rooms or no?
It'd be a real fucking crazy thing not to have spare rooms, given that your mansion can probably fit upwards of 100 people.
You could you could house a small army.
Though, to be fair, most of it is not for you to use. You would have to ask your
Yeah.
wife.
Well, I'm not going to promise anything, but depending on how annoyed or angry at I kind of look to Zane, she is about this. We'll see about if you all are to stay with us for the night or if you'll have to go elsewhere. You'll be fine, Soros.
oh, thanks.
Zane
She's
just
a-
shrugs.
Hardly a concern for me.
She's a lovely lady. I'm sure she'll be okay with it.
Oh, well, again, well, she did say not to kill, and I mean, to be fair, it was a
They-
dicey situation.
They attacked us first.
You know, you make decisions like this in wartime. Sometimes you have rules of engagement, and sometimes you don't always follow them. Though you don't tell anyone that you don't.
Is that Canada
Yeah, I was
speaking?
about to say, doesn't that make you a traitor?
No.
I don't think it's the time to be justifying yourself. Save it for a court of law if you need to.
Rules of engagement are really more of a suggestion, honestly.
Uh-huh.
And it would be a court of law for you all. It'd be a court martial
I'm-
for me.
I'm
Honestly, it's
going
kinda
to leave
worse.
so I can maintain any potential plausible deniability.
Oh, Reggie, here, hold the lantern.
He's
Hey,
just
Jake.
looking at you. Sarah, are we gonna be okay?
Oh yeah, no, we'll be fine. That's why we're gonna have Zane go first. He knows the guys. If they're not on good terms, they'll take him out first. And honestly, if that's the case, we leave the body here, and the issue deals with itself.
I thought we were leaving the sewer.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Before we leave, can I examine that statue that's in there too?
Yes, sir. You certainly can.
Also, before we leave, I'm gonna pick that pouch of money back up and put it in my pocket.
Sure. Are you trying to do it stealthily again?
No, I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
If anyone wants to stop me, they can.
Yeah, no one really
I don't
stops you.
think anyone cares.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Was it an investigation or can I do religion?
It was a religion or a history check specifically.
Oh, okay.
Which
Well.
money was that?
That's better.
Nice.
I think it was 11 gold to platinum.
Yeah, 11 gold, 2 platinum. Um, specifically, if you're looking at the actual statue itself, do you wander up to it, or are you just looking at it from a distance?
Like 8 feet back, or no? I'll go. I'll go up to it.
Yeah, getting a little bit of a closer look as you actually walk up to it. It is a sort of like podium or a stand in front of the actual statue itself, of which seems to be like made for either group announcements, some sort of presentation, or whatnot. Um, Someone important probably would have stood there. But looking up at the actual statue itself, it does not seem to have any sort of religious connotations, at the very best that you could tell. This is probably some sort of historical figure at the very least. Um, but who or what they were is almost impossible to tell. It could be a representation, it could be a specific person. It's very difficult to say the knowledge without knowledge that you currently do not have.
Mhm. No name on the plaque or anything.
There is no plaque.
Ah, okay.
Though you could make me a history check, and because you did pretty well on the religion check, I'll give you a +2 to it.
Cool. I'll do that. Oh no.
It's
Oh
a
yeah, big eight.
it's a historical figure for sure. That's
All
really
right.
about all you know.
I'm not too familiar with the history of the surface people, so I walk away.
Entirely fair.
Don't worry, I'm not either.
It's okay. You're good in other things.
Concerning, but understandable. But yeah, you guys kind of walk back and away from the actual area itself. What are you guys doing next? You leaving?
Yeah,
Right.
I imagine so. Unless someone else has objections,
Absolutely not.
we'll probably send Zane up front. You know, since he's the best off right now.
Sure. Zane, you walk in the front?
He did say be right back.
Oh. We'll give him a couple minutes and then we'll see where it unfolds, because I'm gonna go run to the washroom. Be right back.
Alrighty.
Hello, I have returned.
Welcome
back.
back.
Thank you, thank you. Is Mr. Zane back? He's not. Well, I suppose we wait. Because if he's gonna get put first, I don't want him dying without him being here. I mean, what? Or is this just my way of instilling fear and nervousness into you?
I feel no fear.
It's fine, you know. If I get shot, I get shot.
Considering we have a collective like 10 HP, I'm a little fearful.
I've got 2. Autumn has 1.
I have 3.
Nice,
Collective,
nice.
slightly less than 20.
I like it. I like it.
I ain't heard no bell.
Well, don't worry. You'll hear the bells tolling soon enough.
I cast Toll the Dead on.
Oh
Thoraxis.
no.
You hear them
The
now?
bells. The bells.
Can you hear them?
It sounds like. Why does it sound like Christmas music?
Hmm?
No, I'm just
Well,
thinking
you
of
know.
that one song where it's like, oh god, I can't remember. It was like, it wasn't Jingle Bells. It was the other one.
Carol of the Bells?
It's like, no. That one's too fast. I was thinking about like a slow, low song sung by a guy. I can't remember what it was. Oh, brain not working. Oh well, whatever. It's fine.
God.
What's up? I am here.
Our forehead man is taking so long.
Well, I don't know how long he's
That was
gonna
my
take.
nickname in high school.
That's fucked up. But you know what? Was there anything else that you guys wanted to do within this room before you guys left?
I don't think so.
I grabbed everything that I thought could be of value. Anything else that we do would involve going further in and probably getting stabbed.
Further in? Where?
To wherever the fuck Darren ran off to.
He
Or
just
is
went
this
up.
just an
That's just up the stairs that you guys came in from.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
we
direction
came
you
from
came
over
from.
here?
Yeah, it was. There were
paths
2
split.
hallways. They both led the same place.
Oh,
The path
okay.
split into 2, and it was the same place you guys emerged
Okay,
from.
so he just ran back. Okay.
Yeah, so you guys are going towards him, if anything.
Well,
Wanted to
this
make sure
whole
that
place
I
is
was
a dead
aware.
end. We already searched this fucking place.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that you were aware at the very least. Welcome back. Apparently you have been voluntold to go first,
Okay.
as you guys all
Not
returned.
voluntold. They have the most HP. It is imperative they go first.
If you don't go first, I'll kill Reggie.
Damn.
Not Reggie.
Not Reggie.
Not young Reginald. Anytime anyone
Hey.
or myself says young Reginald, I just think of All Might. Syraxis is All Might. Reginald is Deku. Young Reginald.
Take
Relax,
point for
sir.
the.
Are you sure you're
the
supposed to
kids
do it like this? I mean, I could probably bring up your sword next time.
Oh, God.
Anyways, let's get the fuck out of here.
It's done. I'm switching Reggie's voice.
You're
Yeah.
gonna be a shonen protagonist.
Oh god. No, I would actually not ever want to do that to my poor boy Reggie. But
And Jake, also just to remind you, because it was a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
that first crate we found,
yes.
we emptied it and put it into my bag of holding
Yep.
because I did have enough space.
Yeah. So I think the majority of that stuff was your stuff, right?
Like I had like 2 busts in there. The rest of it was I have no idea what the fuck.
I'm pretty sure it was 2 busts, and then the rest of it was also just the rest. Like it was almost all your stuff. There was a few like linens and other things like that that were also being sent to Free Reach in the same container, but it wasn't like anything too important.
Right. The main things were the carving.
Yeah. Because those were the only really big things that you cared about. And it probably would be the only really big things that anybody else would really care about. But yeah, as you guys all kind of like walk out back into the other scene, you are putting you back on the sewers scene. Eventually kind of making it out of that hallway, slowly wandering past the traps that you guys had already previously identified, and kind of going past it, making sure that you're stepping on the dirty tiles instead of the clean ones. You manage to show up to the front of this area with relatively little issue. Oh, sorry. Oh, no, you're not supposed to be in the water. Don't worry about that. I'm just gonna drag you guys back here because you're supposed to be kind of like here.
Reggie's over on the other side in the other room.
Oh, that is true. Yes, Reggie will also come here. There you guys go. But yeah, you guys all find yourselves around this kind of like a circular area past the steel door with relatively little issue. And kind of glancing around, you don't see any sign of Darren. Though one thing you guys do notice as you guys get further along is that this door down here is ajar instead of being locked like it was previously.
Should we go that way, or do we want to try wading through? No, if I had to guess. No, that's not where the creature was, I don't think.
I mean, I suppose someone could check it to see if it goes the same way or if it will lead up to the surface.
I'll check it.
Okay.
I'll come along with you just a sec. And Darcy will put a telepathic connection with. Fuck it, let's put it on Syraxis.
Sure.
That'll last several minutes.
A little bit, a little while. Yeah. And as you guys kind of walk over and hesitantly walk up to the door, do you just walk in or do you like... 'cause
No,
the door is ajar, but it's towards you. So you'd have to walk past the door slightly to get into the actual room itself.
I'd like to use like summon my mage hand.
Sure.
And
I will attempt to enter stealth.
All right. Zane, are you going to do the same?
yeah,
Motherfucker.
Roll me a stealth check then. Okay. The two of you quietly creep over to the door. And what are you doing with your mage hand?
I can't open it any further, right?
You could pull the door towards you because it's only like slightly ajar, maybe like a foot and a half away from the actual door frame.
You
You
okay,
could
so
pull
like
it open further, yeah.
yeah, so like I'm not standing like right in front of the door or close to the door. I'm like a little bit of ways off against the wall, and just slowly like pulling the door open with the mage hand.
Right. How slowly?
I don't know how to measure it, but let's just say like like 1 centimeter per second. I don't know.
That's really slow. Sure.
Okay, no. We'll do like 10 centimeters per second.
Okay. As you kind of like slowly pull the door towards you, you for a brief moment you feel what's like a slight tug, and then it just kind of goes away as the door pulls slightly open faster, and you realize, oh shit, something went off as the door flings towards you. It doesn't come off its hinges, but both of you hear a deafening blast go off. Thankfully, because neither of you were directly in front of the door, neither of you have to roll me anything, as a blast of what can only be described as shrapnel, an incredibly loud noise goes off, slams a bunch of projectiles directly across from the actual door itself. Essentially, it was a gunshot from what sounded like a shotgun.
Sounds
Though-
lively in there.
Though Darcy and Zane, I don't think either of you are aware of the presence or existence of a shotgun. You're aware of firearms, but you probably
I imagine I've seen a shotgun being touted around by one of the guards, like something they got with like a fucking holiday bonus or some shit.
Oh, they would not be able to afford it with a holiday bonus. They would not be able to afford it even if they were working here for the last 30 years.
Fair
I
enough.
mean, I feel like I would have seen it in the underworld.
You probably would have seen something like this, like you know of its existence, but this
Maybe
would
not
have been
used, but
this would have been the first time you've seen one getting used. Both
Either
of
way.
you are stunned at the very least for a brief moment, as the rest of you hear this incredibly loud noise go off, and you're like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Darcy will just quickly telepathic back to Syraxis. It's okay. Just a gun. No one's hit.
Do I know what a gun is?
Yeah. You've at the very least heard of it, if not seen one.
Well, who's the gunman?
No idea. Trapped on the door.
Oh. That's slightly less interesting.
Darcy's gonna peek past the door now.
Yeah, you see what appears to be like a makeshift shotgun. The barrel is currently blasted to pieces. But it was
Yeah.
essentially on a hair trigger from when the door was, if it was getting pulled open, it would go off. And you look and you realize this was set up like really recently. As in possibly less than 5 to 10 minutes ago. Recently.
do I know if this is like Darren's like specialty or like his work?
You can give me a history check to see if you can recall. No idea.
There's another door here. Probably where he ran off to.
I reckon there's more traps.
Probably. Should I try this door?
As you guys walk
Hmm.
into that room itself and kind of look around to determine what exactly type of room it might be, you get to see very much so that the room itself is like essentially how will be the best way to describe this? It's like a storage closet more than anything else, but also like mixed as a like an administrative bureau. You see a bunch of desks with like various different bits of paperwork and things like that. And from the best that you could tell, this room would have probably very likely had a bunch of stuff specifically in regards to like the oh god, what do I call it? Like the sewers themselves. In fact, you actually see a map of the sewers on the table, amongst a few other things.
Darcy will telepathy back to Syraxis. Proceed down the walkway a bit and come to the room that we're in. It should be safe here. He's running away.
Okay. Which I imagine I'm saying out loud.
Yep.
I'll start kind of. Walking.
I've called them here because, well, I need to
Let me first
What is
see
it?
if this
have the telepathy in the first place.
let me see if this next door is trapped before they get here.
Mage hand is
Right.
definitely a good way to go, though.
I try to use the mage hand to open that door.
As you try, the door is locked.
Okay.
Well, we at
Blocked.
least know where to go tomorrow. Or tonight, I suppose. I don't know.
He's not that far away.
Why,
It
you think
seems
he's
like
in
he
there?
spent a door probably goes elsewhere, but he spent a decent amount of time trying to set up that shotgun. We're only 5 or so minutes behind him, so might as well see if this leads to another room, maybe maybe a place where they kept their loot after sorting through it all.
I agree. We shouldn't let him get away. We're really close.
Oh, I mean, I don't particularly want to let him get away either, but
Okay. So what are you guys doing then?
Zane, could you open the door?
I don't have the ability to
Oro
pick the lock.
Celestos then for
Did you not get Thieves' Tools proficiency, or did you just not have the tools? I can't remember.
I forgot to buy my stuff before the campaign began.
Right. That's what it was.
yeah, I was about to say he should get it by default. Like, you can't not have it on Rogue unless he specifically requests not to have it.
No, yeah, that's why I said at the beginning of the campaign you should buy. You have to buy your stuff. I think.
No, I was meaning the proficiency.
Oh yeah. But yeah,
borrow bloody Celestos lockpicks.
Celeste, do you let him borrow your picks?
It's Celesto who is
He's
not,
not
here.
here.
Well, we'll see you next week, fellas. I guess we have to wait for him then.
No, Celeste's just like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it. He just goes up to the door and tries it.
Oh dear.
If he dies,
Oh, no.
he dies.
Me.
Where is it? Tinker's Tools. No, Thieves' Tools. Boom. Normal. Boom. 24. Hey, let's go.
Oh my Christ.
Yeah, as he tries, as he goes up to the door and just kind of like tries it. Sorry, I'm just gonna drag him here because he's supposed to be here.
Hey,
you guys,
welcome back from vacay. Your character exploded.
yeah. He just unlocks the door. The door, he kind of opens it, looks over to the other room, and sees what appears to be another type of room that is very similar to the one that you guys actually had just come from. As far as you can tell, it's a bunch of raw sewage being pumped in through one side of the room. It's being spun through a variety of different kind of like filters on the ground, powered by God knows what. A singular like long wooden pole is coming in from the center of the room that's causing all of this stuff to like spin in place, and you can see semi clean water being like pumped out of the room. Like all the solids and stuff is being filtered out. The room stinks, high heaven. But kind of glancing out, you see mostly clear water kind of being dumped into the next room, where you see a bunch of other like kind of like static filters that are just seemingly allowing the water to drain through them slowly, which is where Darcy and Zane are currently kind of standing. Aside from that, you don't see much.
I think this would simply go further down and probably loop back to the room where we found that refuse elemental. By this point, he's definitely in the rest of the sewers, and catching him would be nigh impossible. We don't have enough people.
I think you're right. Its sewers are too big.
If we'd been able to go after him immediately, that'd be one thing, but oh well.
Well, hopefully those letters and whatnot will give us a idea as to where he might be going.
Mm. It's unlikely they had a buyer for any of the dragon remains, and the real question is, where would they move them to? Zane, can you spot anything on the sewer map?
Yeah, I can check.
Give me an investigation check.
Can I give him advantage?
Do you have proficiency?
I do.
Then yes, you can. You have advantage, which should be shift.
I tried shift.
You
Just roll
can.
it again.
Oh no, sorry, it's
and
alt.
that-
It's alt, not shift. You can just roll again as a single.
Oh
Wow.
my god, what are
That
these
is
rolls?
Unfortunate, but as you kind of take a look over the actual map itself, both the combined kind of looks of yourself and Darcy, unfortunately, from the best that you could tell, this is just like a.
Fuck, I keep forgetting that I can give people inspiration. I still have like 4 things of it.
That's all right. You know what? I'll say you. If you spend it now, you can still give it to him. I'll let it slide this time, but next time you'll have to do it beforehand.
So is it a D4?
I think it's a D6.
It's a D6, and you can roll it twice and choose the higher number.
Oh.
Jesus fucking
He's not-
Christ.
He's nothing if not consistent.
16 total, is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it unfortunately just looks like a sewer map from the best that you can tell. Like, this entire room itself seems to indicate that this is like a civil servant's room. Someone who actually works in the sewers would probably have this room as their kind of like location. In addition, you actually see a picture off to the side. What looks to be some sort of painting that depicts one figure that is actually vaguely familiar. The man, actually, no, 2 figures. You see the man and the woman that you guys had seen before and fought
Mm,
in a small painting set up in the middle of the room.
Yeah, that's just confirming my unfortunate hypothesis. Uh, Is any of this documentation written in Thieves' Cant, or is it just
No, it is all in common. All of this documentation is things that you can understand yourself with absolutely no assistance from anybody else. Like, everything on here, you're just like, okay, this is specifically talking about the sewage flow for this kind of date. This other thing is like, oh god, it fucking stinks to high heaven in here. What the hell have the people been eating? Kind of thing. Like,
right?
it actually specifically looks, for the most part, like it's just a civil servant's room.
Okay. What's the like last entry?
The last entry is from the day before, actually. It specifically states, yeah, I think the wifey and I are gonna go out for some dinner next couple of days. I think the sewer will be fine without us for a little bit. They can handle things. The methods will be fine. If there's any actual emergency, one of them can contact me. Hopefully, at least. God, what kind of emergency would even happen in a sewer? And this was dated on the 10th.
Narrator note: it was not fine without them.
So there's been no entries for the last
2 days.
2 days. All right. Well, it all just sort of links together, so let's go the way that doesn't smell so bad.
All right. And I'm guessing you guys are just leaving now. Or trying to.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
because
there's
I mean, there's no chance for us to catch up to him at this point. Not and with our health, if we corner him, he's going to fight back, and he's probably going to win.
you don't know that. You probably would, but you
Besides,
don't know that.
worst case scenario. Besides, there's almost certainly more guys down here, but it'll take them a while to move all the stuff, and it'll be hopefully a little overt, especially if we have people go down to the sewers and start combing it through.
We'll see. But yeah, at this current moment, you guys kind of like scoot yourself away and out, following the same paths that you guys had previously traveled through. And honestly, you managed to get out of the sewers with relatively little issue. Kind of coming out into the deep darkness of the middle of the night. It being at this point probably closer to 11:30, or actually no, it would be around midnight would be when you guys come out. So I'm just going to advance the clock forward an hour-ish. Yeah, and as you guys come out into this kind of like deep darkness of the city itself, you welcome back the wonderful ambiance of the ocean kind of slowly lapping against the shores of Ardalan itself, in the far south of the district of Love. Though it is for the most part not terribly disruptive, the tide is for the most part a little bit lower than normal. The city itself, because it floats, actually goes with the tide, so there isn't any real change to where the water is in comparison to where you guys currently would have been previous. And as such, the sewers are still just above the actual water level itself, and you manage to get out onto the docks with honestly no issues. In the distance, those of you with decent bits of perception do hear, sir? Did you go somewhere? Sir? Oh dear. Hope they're okay.
Oh, is that the security guard?
Yes, you do hear him kind of looking around, seemingly
Darcy,
concerned.
yeah, Darcy will go up there.
Yeah,
Not to worry.
Yeah. Oh, there you are. You okay?
I-
Oh,
Well,
you do not look
I wouldn't
okay.
stand too close. Yeah, no, it's not the.
Oh, you don't smell okay either.
Yeah, I wouldn't stand too close, but well, we found the people that stole the items from the warehouse and recovered one of the crates, but the rest of this is going to need to be a more drawn out effort.
At least some good news is better than no good news.
Indeed.
Well, is everyone still okay? What happened? Why are you so injured?
Well,
The smell I can understand, but
we ran across something down there.
oh,
Nothing good. It's
well,
it
my mom
will
always told me
be
to stay away from the sewers. I think it's for the good
indeed, and
reason.
you should stand by that. You should stand by those words. Not to worry. We'll make certain that all the relevant information gets to all of the relevant authorities.
Okay, that's good. Anything I can help with?
Not for right now, but I appreciate it. Just if you can, keep an eye out for anyone that's going in or out of around here when you're on shift. If you
Sure.
obviously focus on your.
No, of course. I'll try to keep an eye out for anything or everybody that might be coming by.
Rupert, what are you doing?
Sorry?
Oh, sorry. Could you guys hear me there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it! Why did? Okay, now the mute no longer works on that. So let me fucking.
It could have been just that you hit
Okay,
it.
now.
Like,
Okay, now. Okay, so there's a mute button on the side of my microphone.
mm-hmm.
I hit that, thinking like that's what needed to be done. But no, now I need to specifically go and hit the one on my soundboard, on my mix board,
I see.
which makes sense. But what the fuck? I should be able to do both.
That's all right.
Oh well, whatever.
It
Doesn't matter.
is what it is.
It does not matter.
But
I
yeah,
was just making sure the dog wasn't getting into cat food.
I'm sure it's fine.
He's
Yeah.
very allergic to a lot of things.
As you guys are kind of like just having this discussion, not really much is going on. It's kind of chill for the most part.
I imagine Syraxis walks by with the body.
Do you, Syraxis?
I mean, I step out with the body. At least covered.
Yeah. You get a quick look from him. He looks at it, looks at you. Hello, sir. Everything okay?
Is this guy with the guard or someone else?
This is the warehouse guard that we talked to when we started this job.
Yeah, this is the one
yes.
you're like. This is a hire from your wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yep. We're fine. It's just that we ran into some trouble in there.
Oh, you're bloody all over. That's not good.
Oh yeah, nothing that a night's rest in a shower won't fix.
Shower would fix that.
For the most part.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear. I hope you're doing all right, sir.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine. How about you?
I'm not covered in blood, so
Unfortunately, we are. So you should get back to your work, and we'll finish up with what we're doing for the night.
it'll do. Do take care, hey?
Of course, and thank you for your assistance earlier.
No, of course. It's, well, on top of it being my job, I'm happy to help. At least we managed to get some of it back.
Indeed. For now, though, have a pleasant evening.
You too. I don't think it could get much worse than that, I suppose, though.
And Darcy will start walking down the street, headed towards the Magic District.
Mm-hmm.
Is where Syraxis and his wife lives.
Well, I mean, we'll want to stop by the guard first.
Oh yeah. To at least drop off the body.
I'm not allowed to bring bodies in the house anymore.
Good to know.
Anymore.
Yeah. It was a weird Christmas, that one. But yeah, we'll start making our way back that way, but then obviously locate the nearest like guard post or something along those lines.
Or while everyone's walking, Darcy will finish up the sleeve that he was remaking for his shirt.
Yeah. You managed to do so with relatively little issue. It's just a sleeve.
Yeah, and then he attaches it to his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing ever happened.
Yes, sir. Because nothing ever did.
Clearly.
Yeah, so as you guys are kind of doing that, it is quite dark and kind of, quiet within the actual city itself. But as you guys drift up and further into the actual city itself, getting closer to the locations where people are actually, doing their things, you actually begin to hear various different things. There's music, there's people, there's it's kind of nice. Sorry, give me one moment. I'm just gonna see if I can find this.
Darcy will do his best to bring them all to the nearest guard posting.
Right. And as you get close and kind of closer to the area, you can see that there are various different folks who are wandering the streets. Some of them for their late night walks, some of them for other things. But uh, it's nice to be back amongst a little bit of civilization after the time you spent away from it. But yeah, the nearest guard post is relatively easy to get to. You manage to get there, kind of, and you see quite a few people just hanging about. And Darcy, you are relatively familiar with the majority of them. You see a few figures that you do recognize on shift at that moment, but one of them kind of sees you. A man that you know as Lark kind of glances over. Darcy, is that you?
Yes, pleasant evening to you, Lark.
Oh, good to see you. What can I help with? No trouble, right?
Well, we're not in trouble currently, but we've
Oh.
found some. We were, what's her last name? I'm trying to remember.
Roseward.
We were hired, myself, Lord Syraxis, and a few others were hired by Lady Rosewood to recover
Roseward is here too. So good to see you, sir.
Oh, yes, good to you.
recover a stolen shipment.
Ooh,
Um,
fancy.
we recovered some of it, not all of it, and
Is that why you're smelling like a sewer?
unfortunately, yes.
Mm.
I've tried to use a little bit of magic to get rid of it, but it tends to stick to you.
I've been down there. Not a fan.
We've cleaned ourselves up the majority of what it was. It was not friendly down there.
That's rough.
Uh,
What was it? Was it something that needed to be taken care of? I could submit a report and get it
that
done.
would be gesturing to the bundle being carried by Syraxis.
Is that a
Part
creature?
of it.
In a way.
It is a drow mage that assaulted us with a
Ooh.
vast assortment of summoned elemental.
Oh!
We had intended to keep him
Alive, but it
alive,
was a,
yes.
Oh.
but unfortunately, it did not go that way.
Things were very heated, and it was a very close situation. We did what we had to, and, well, he perished. But we have reason to believe that he might be some level of a criminal or related to some criminal group. So we were wanting to maybe bring him in, let whomever identify him, if possible at all, and then deal with him from there.
In
It's
addition,
very difficult to deal with the criminals, or specifically identifying them, sir. Not a lot of them are recorded within actual records, one. And two, they tend to stay away from the limelight to try and prevent themselves from being recorded. You see, they're not ordinary citizens. It's very difficult to get a proper count of who and what else is really in the city, especially for those types.
True.
It's not
Yeah,
like
so
they're
we're-
going to listen to authority. So
We're aware, but it's more just you never know. I've dealt with plenty who have been known to some degree, so we figured we'd at least bring it here. Plus, I mean, what else are we gonna do with the body?
I'm not sure either. Fair enough, I guess.
In addition, this admittedly it just occurred to me, but I believe there's some form of magic that the clergy utilizes to speak to the dead to help calm the deceased loved ones, give them closure.
It's an expensive ordeal. Not one that we can just afford to do with anyone. We could, if you really believe this would help with the
I
operation.
thought Speak with the Dead was free.
Casting of the service is not. Like if you yourself are a cleric to use it, yeah, it's free. But you don't have a cleric in your party, do you?
I mean, we do, but not
Yeah.
at that high level.
Looks
Oh.
at Saros.
Oh, sorry. You don't have a cleric that is capable of casting it yet. So
It's like what, a third level spell, I think.
I think it would be next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless we're
We-
leveling up tonight, you know.
Nope.
Yeah.
Good try.
Damn it.
It was simply an idea. It was simply an idea that I remembered as thought.
It's
Eh,
possible,
regardless.
but I'm sorry you'd have to front the costs yourselves because this isn't an official investigation that we're participating in.
In that case, I'll bring up the idea to Lady Rose.
Perhaps it might be a good idea, yes.
That aside, there's also 2 individuals that need to be reported as missing, potentially dead.
Oh, that's not good. Could you give me a name and description? He kind of takes out.
I imagine
quill.
I imagine I got a name from the records in that room.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
For the two workers in
for
the
the 2
sewers,
civil
right?
workers.
Yes. Yeah. He kind of takes a look. And do you know their occupation?
They were civil workers down in the sewer.
Oh. That would make sense actually as to why you would know that. Okay. Oh.
Yes. We encountered some sort of creature that was making facsimiles of them and using them to attack us.
Oh.
We were
They were using
unfortunate-
words that sounded the same. What?
They were speaking to us.
Is that not what a simile is? Whatever.
Facsimile.
It sounds about the same.
You're sorry. You're gonna have to use a little bit smaller words. I'm educated, but
Copy.
not that much.
Apologies. Sorry. Copies. Uh,
So like clones or
was-
something.
It was seemingly forming parts of itself to look like them and speak like them.
Oh. That sounds dangerous.
It was.
Did you
It's
kill it?
no. It was unfortunately able to escape us.
Oh. Give me a deception check.
That's not a deception. It did escape us.
Yeah, but you guys kind of let it go.
Just a second. Let me make the wisdom saving throw.
I don't like hearing that whenever there's something as simple as a deception check.
It's
being made.
every fucking charisma check.
Yep.
Oh, that's not good.
So -2 on this.
Mhm.
So 20.
Yeah, he seems to believe you and doesn't seem to make any sort of indication that he doesn't. Oh, that's terrible. This is something I'll have to report. You'll have I apologize, Darcy, but you'll probably have to give me like a proper full report if possible. Would you be able to come in
Of
tomorrow
course.
morning?
Oh, that's no problem at all.
Yeah, I
I'd
just
be more than happy to. There's other things that we recovered as well that should probably be gone over if nothing else.
yes,
to,
I have to prep the proper forms and I have to get the you know how
I'll-
it is.
And of course, I'll bring what I have tomorrow morning as well.
Yes, that would be very useful. And I can't remember. Were you able to draw? If you could draw something that could be like close representations of something like that, it would be incredibly helpful in the investigation at the very least.
I can certainly try. It'll be my imagination on it, but
Now
What are
the
you
question
drawing?
is, do you want your father to hear about this or no?
considering the potential threat of this creature and how
Well, he's going to hear about it regardless. But I just meant if you wanted me to tell him it was from you.
it would probably be a good idea.
Okay. You should know how he is. It's
Yes,
It's
he
your
takes the
fault.
security of the city very seriously, and if a creature like this exists outside of any of my knowledge of things like that. Limited though it may be, it does not seem like something natural. It seemed to be a ooze of some kind. And if
probably
one of
not.
those bears intelligence, that's probably not a good sign.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be. Well, you know how your father is. A little bit uptight, but he's trying his best for the city. It makes sense. With
Indeed, indeed.
So, take care of yourself. Don't do anything stupid. I know you don't, but I just need to say it just in case.
Right.
But yes, come by tomorrow morning. You're free to bring your friends, and we can chat about this further. For now, I have to make some reports in regards to the information you've already given me. This is going to be a fun night. At least I have something to do tonight.
Where should we take the body?
I'm going to be honest, I don't have a place to store it. If possible, I think it might be better if you just keep it yourself. If you really want us to take it as evidence or something that we need to do, we can. I'm not sure we'd have a place to put it. Unless you wanted us to get rid of it, then that is an entirely different thing. We do have a graveyard that we can bury the dead. And for those who are not worth a burial, well, the ocean is typically what takes them.
And Lord Syraxis, your wife might need to tolerate a body, at least on the grounds, if not within the home for the night.
You do know that your home is separate to the actual office where you guys had initially met with the group. And the office is attached to a barracks.
You know, we could also put it in your bag.
There's no room in there right now, especially not for a body.
I suppose we'll make do.
Apologies.
It's quite all right. The fate of the body will be decided either tonight or in the morning, depending on Lady Rosewood's opinion of whether or not we should question the deceased.
Understood. Well, if anything, let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
Of course. I'll be by in the morning.
I'll be looking forward to seeing you.
Have a safe shift. Have a safe shift, Locke.
Oh, it's been nothing but safe after Corbin's taken over.
That's always good to hear.
A little boring, but honestly, I am more than happy to take a little bit boring than anything else, really. At least this wasn't like it was 20 years ago. Ugh.
Indeed.
But always good to see you, Darcy. Take care of yourself, hey?
Right. You as well. And Lord Syraxis, Tharos, Sane, Eclipse, Zyso. This is where I leave you for the night. Inform Lady Rosewood that I will bring the shipment with me tomorrow morning, the one that we recovered.
Where are you going?
I am going home to bathe and rest.
Why, you don't want to bring the body with you?
No. I could not even carry it, quite frankly. And
all right.
No, and I think that you could understand why I do not want a corpse around my home and place of business.
I suppose I can get it.
And to all of you, good night.
Hmm.
And Darcy will start walking down the
Alright.
street off to home.
Yeah. The rest of you watch Darcy kind of head off before, I'm guessing the rest of you turn towards the District of Magic to go and see if you can hand a body to someone who does not wish to see a body.
You know what? Maybe we should just go to the sewers and just like put them there in the entrance. That way, when we go back in, it's just right there.
Just dump it in the sea.
I'll give it a little more dignity than that.
We still need to ask whether or not it would be feasible to get for Lady Rosebud to foot the bill for Speak with Dead, because that might actually be helpful.
I mean, how much would a third level spell cost
Uh,
to have someone like cast it for you?
a lot actually, because someone who's actually capable of casting third level spells is pretty rare. Like, it's not rare. It's just like level 1, level 2's super easy. Like you'll find them all over the place. But anybody who's able to cast like 3 or up is pretty difficult to find unless you're going to like a head temple or like a pretty major temple, which Ardalan does have. Like you would be able to find someone to do that service easily. But it's not going to come cheap.
Yeah, as we're like kind of leaving the guard, I'll kind of double back around to the sewers that we went into.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just I'll open because it's not like locked or sealed, is it?
Nope.
Yeah, I'll just kind of walk over there, kind of like look around, open it, and just set them inside.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Wait, where are you putting him?
I'm just putting him at the entrance to the sewer.
And you do. And
Like inside of it, not
yeah.
obviously
Like I'm guessing
outside,
within
yeah.
the folding door kind of thing.
Yeah, like I'll put him inside, like deep enough to where like if someone were to just for some fucking reason open it up and look in, he's not right there, but he's kind of like tucked in to where like obviously you'd have to go in and be moving in to actually see him. Plus the 2 workers are, as far as we know, deceased. I'm not going to be on long.
Okay, so you walked all the way back to the sewer that we were just at.
Basically, yes.
Entirely fair.
I just kind of like wipe my hands. I'm like, look, last time I brought a body into the manor, there was hell to be paid.
But yeah, and that is where we'll actually leave it off for tonight. And you guys will figure things out tomorrow.
Damn,
the
I wanted to see what excuses we could come up with.
Well, you'll have some time for that.